Namaste students. Today in this lecture we will discuss about human digestive system. Human digestive system, it consists of two parts. The first one, that is the alimentary canal, and the second, that are the associated glands, the glands which are associated with the alimentary canal. So let's see in this diagram that what is alimentary canal. Alimentary canal, it starts from the mouth and it ends up at the anus region. Here you can see that from the mouth, which leads to esophagus, which is also known as the food pipe, then it leads to stomach region, and then it will leads to the small intestine, and then large intestine. Okay, and the large intestine, it will ends up at the anus region. So this is known as alimentary canal, and the various glands which are associated with the alimentary canal, that are known as the associated glands, like salivary glands, which are present just below the mouth cavity or the buccal cavity, liver, which is present here, and pancreas. So these are known as the associated glands: salivary glands, liver, pancreas. So together the associated glands and the alimentary canal, together they make up the human digestive system. And human digestive system, it follows up the Holozoic mode of nutrition, in which the various 5 steps of nutrition that occurs. Like first, that is ingestion, then digestion, absorption, assimilation, and then egestion process. So today in this lecture we will discuss about all these 5 steps in detail. So first, that is the ingestion process. Now what is ingestion process? Ingestion process means that we will take the food through the mouth. So that is known as ingestion. So taking up of the food through the mouth, that is known as the ingestion process. And in ingestion process there is not any digestion, it will occur. Okay, next, that is the digestion process, in which the digestion of the food, it will occur, means the complex organic molecule, it will be converted into the simpler ones by the action of the enzymes. So let's discuss in detail. So the next digestion process, it starts from the mouth and then it will continue in the stomach region and then in the small intestine region. And in the small intestine, the complete digestion, it occurs. So let's discuss in detail. As digestion, it starts in the mouth. So as we ingest the food through the mouth region, and then when the food, it will come in the buccal cavity, just here the salivary gland that is present. Now the mouth means the buccal cavity, it contains the teeth, it contains the tongue also, which helps in the physical digestion. So physical digestion means it means the no involvement of the enzymes, and it occurs by the teeth or tongue region. Okay, basically teeth. So teeth, they help to cut the food. Okay, they grind the food. And what is the function of the tongue? That tongue, it helps the saliva to mix with the food. Because of that, what happens? The food, it will become wet and it will be easily swallowed by the mouth, and then it will come in the stomach region. Now next is the chemical digestion. Here the involvement of the enzymes will be there. Now what happened? That here the salivary glands are present. Salivary glands, they produce saliva. Salivary glands, they produce saliva, and this saliva, it contain the salivary amylase enzyme. Salivary amylase enzyme, which convert the starch present in food into simple sugar. It means that it is responsible for the digestion of the starch. So let's see again that in the mouth there are 2 types of digestion it occurs. The first one, that is the physical digestion, which involves the involvement of teeth, which helps in the grinding of the food. And what is the function of the tongue? That it helps the saliva to mix with the food so that it will become wet and will be easily swallowed. Next is the chemical digestion. Chemical digestion, it occurs by the salivary glands which produce saliva, and saliva, it contains salivary amylase enzyme which helps in the digestion of the starch which is present in food into simple sugar. Now next is that when the food that is partially digested in the mouth. Why partially digested? Because the food, it remains in the mouth for some time, for some period of time only. So that's why it is partially digested, and then it comes in the stomach region, but in between the esophagus that is present. So how the food, it will come in the stomach region? By the peristaltic movement of the food pipe. Now what is peristaltic movement? Peristaltic movement, it means that the walls of the food pipe, they will contract and then relax, contract and then relax. So the muscles which are present in the walls of the food pipe, because of that contraction and the relaxation movement, the food, it will enters in the stomach region through the esophagus, or you can see food pipe. Now the next digestion, it will occurs in the stomach region. So let's discuss. So the stomach wall, it contain gastric glands. It contain here the gastric glands that are present, and these glands, they produce gastric juice. They produce gastric juice which contain three components. Now what are the three components? That is HCl, next is pepsin and mucus. So what is the function of the HCl here? HCl, it provides acidic medium. It provides acidic medium. And next is that it kills the bacteria which is present in the food. It kills the bacteria also. So why this acidic medium that is required? This acidic medium that is required for the proper functioning of the pepsin, because pepsin, it works only in the acidic medium. Now when HCl that is produced and when it provides acidic medium, then it activates the pepsin. Now what is the function of the pepsin? That it digests proteins. It digests proteins. And what is the function of mucus? That it protects the lining of the stomach from the HCl secretion, because HCl, it provides the acidic medium. So that's why it protects the lining of the stomach, protects the lining of the stomach from HCl, So now after that, after digestion in stomach, the food, it will transfer to the small intestine. From here, it will come in the small intestine region. And this small intestine region, it receives the secretion of the pancreas as well as the liver also. Okay. So what are the secretions of the liver and pancreas? So small intestine, digestion in small intestine. Still we are discussing about digestion only. It receives secretion from liver and pancreas. Okay, liver, it produces the bile juice. It produces bile juice. And pancreas, it produces the pancreatic juice. Now liver, it produces the bile juice. Bile juice, it stored here in the gallbladder for some time, and then through the bile duct, this is the bile duct, through bile duct it will come in the small intestine region. And pancreas, it produces the pancreatic juice, which through the pancreatic duct it will come in the small intestine region. It means that these secretions, they will show their action in the small intestine region. Now what is the function of the bile juice? It help it helps in the emulsification of fats. It helps in the emulsification of fat molecules. Now what is emulsification? Emulsification means that it converts the large fat molecules into the smaller globules, so that it will be easy to digest the fat. Now next is that it provides alkaline medium also. It provides alkaline medium to neutralize the acidic medium that was provided by the HCl. And this alkaline medium, that is required for the functioning of the pancreatic juice. Now pancreatic juice, it produces or it contains three types of the enzymes. What are those? That are amylase, trypsin and lipase. Amylase, it digests starch, means carbohydrate. Trypsin, it digests proteins. And lipase, it digests the smaller fat globules after the emulsification of the fat. So it digests fat molecules. Okay. Now next we will discuss about the small intestinal juice, which is secreted by the small intestine itself. Okay, till now what we have discussed, that liver and pancreas, they produce their juices in the small intestine and they show the digestion process. But now we will discuss about the small intestinal juice, which is produced by the small intestine region only, by the walls of the small intestine region. So let's discuss. So small intestinal juice, it is responsible for the complete digestion. It is responsible for complete digestion. Means the small intestine, that is the region where the complete digestion it occurs. Digestion occurs, and the starch, it will be converted into glucose, which is a simple sugar, which is a kind of simple sugar, and proteins that are converted into amino acids. Proteins, they will be converted into amino acids, and fats, they will be converted into fatty acids and glycerol. Okay. So now next we will discuss that after the digestion what will happen. After this digestion, the digested food, it will be absorbed, and then energy that will be produced, and the undigested food, it will comes in the large intestinal region. So let's discuss in detail. Now students, we have discussed about the two steps of the Holozoic mode of nutrition, that are ingestion and digestion process. Now next we will discuss about the absorption process. Now here you can see that the digested food which is present in the small intestine. Okay, now the walls of the small intestine, they absorb they absorb the digested food. How? Because the walls of the digested food, they contain villi. They contain villi, and these villi, they provide a large surface area for the absorption of the digested food. So these villi that are present here in the inner walls of the small intestine region, and they help in the increasing the surface area for the absorption of the digested food. And in this manner, what happens? The digested food, it will be absorbed and it will be transported to blood, and from blood it will be transported to the different body parts which contain cells. Okay, so different body cells, or you can say different body parts which contain the cells, and in these cells what happen? Oxidation of the food will be there. Oxidation of food will be there during respiration process, and when during respiration process the oxidation of food, it will occur in the body cells, then it provide energy. Then it provide energy, and this energy, it is responsible for the growth and repairment of the body. So when the energy that is produced by the oxidation of the digested food in the body cells, then that process is known as assimilation process. Now next we will discuss about digestion. So what is digestion? That as the digested food that is absorbed by the small intestine. But what about the undigested food? This undigested food, it will be passed to the large intestine. And here the large intestinal wall, they also contain villi. They also contain villi. Okay. So large intestinal walls, they also contain villi, and these villi, they absorb maximum water from the digested food. They absorb water and makes the food solid, because the maximum water that is digested by the large intestinal region. So this solid undigested food, it will come in this rectum region where it will get stored. Okay, so in the rectum region, it is responsible for the storing of the undigested food, and from the anus region it will be removed. So this process is known as digestion. So see again what happens in case of absorption, that the digested food, it will be absorbed by the villi. Now next is that assimilation. When this digested food, it will be absorbed by the body and transported to the blood, and through blood it will be transported to the different body parts, where in the body cells the oxidation of food, it will occur, and which provide energy, and this energy, it is used for the growth and repairment of the body. Now next is digestion process, in which the undigested food, it will be passed to the large intestinal region, and where maximum water absorption will be there, and it is responsible for the solid undigested food which stores in the rectum region, and from the anus it will be removed. Now what is the function of this appendix region? This appendix region, it is a vestigial organ, and it is not having any function in the human digestive system. So that's all about the human digestive system, that how it occurs in 5 steps, that is ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and then egestion process. Now students, I want to tell you some interesting facts about digestive system. Digestive system, in case of human beings, especially the small intestinal region, it is 6.5 meters long. But if suppose we'll talk about the different organisms, so according to the type of food they eat, they are having the different length of the small intestine. Means the length of the small intestine, it varies in different organisms. Like in case of herbivores, they are having larger small intestine as compared to the carnivores organisms. Why? What is the reason behind that? Because herbivores, they eat grass, and grass that contain cellulose. That contain cellulose, and cellulose, it is very hard to digest. It will take time for the digestion. So that's why the herbivores organisms, they are having larger small intestine as compared to the carnivores, and carnivores, they are having shorter small intestine, because carnivores, they eat flesh, they eat meat, and that is easily digested. So that is the reason herbivores, they are having larger small intestine, and carnivores, they are having small intestine.